All right, let's dive in. Have you ever thought about what it's really like to have a conversation in Norway or Sweden or Denmark? Well, today we're jumping headfirst into the clear and, yeah, sometimes chilly waters of Scandinavian communication to figure out its unique style.
You know, the source for this explainer kicks off with this brilliant metaphor. Culture is just like water to a fish. It's everywhere, it's essential, it's the environment you live and breathe in. But because it's always there, you don't even notice it. It just feels normal. That is, of course, until you find yourself swimming in totally different waters.
And that's our big question for today, right? What is the water like in Scandinavia? What are the unspoken rules, the hidden currents, the whole vibe of communication in that part of the world? Stick with us, and by the end, you'll know exactly how to navigate it.
Okay, but before we can really understand a specific style, we need a basic blueprint for how any conversation works. You gotta learn the fundamentals of floating before you try to swim the English Channel, you know?
So here's the classic communication model. Pretty straightforward. A sender has a message, and it goes to a receiver. But the secret sauce is in that field of experience. That's where culture lives. See, my experiences shape how I send a message, and your experiences totally shape how you receive it. And when those fields don't overlap much, that's when you get noise, a classic misunderstanding.
This brings us to a super important idea, the whole spectrum of low-context versus high-context cultures. In low-context cultures, the meaning is right there in the words. They're direct, they're explicit. But in high-context cultures, you've got to read between the lines. The real meaning is hidden in the situation, the relationship, the nonverbal stuff.
And check this out. This shows us exactly where Scandinavia lands. Bam! Firmly in the low-context camp, right there with places like Germany and North America. Honestly, if you take one thing away from this, let it be this. In Scandinavia, the message is in the text, not the subtext. For the most part, people say what they mean. All right. Now that we've got our framework, we can really start decoding the specifics. This whole preference for being low context, it shows up in 4 key ways in Scandinavian communication. We're going to break it down into these 4 core traits. Egalitarianism, which is all about equality, directness, this idea of consensus seeking, and a real appreciation for minimalism. Each one of these builds on the others and creates this really distinct communication style. So first up is egalitarianism. This is a huge, deep-seated value of equality. In a conversation, what that means is that hierarchy just kind of melts away. You're almost always going to use first names. Doesn't matter if you're talking to your boss, a professor, or some government official. It's a clear signal that, hey, we're all on the same level here.
This chart is awesome because it makes the idea of directness so clear. Just look at the simple act of saying no. In a high-context culture like Japan, the main goal is to keep things harmonious, so you might hear something like, that could be a bit difficult. But in Scandinavia, the goal is clarity, it's efficiency, so you'll probably just hear no, because honesty and transparency are valued way more than avoiding a little discomfort.
Now, this might sound like it totally contradicts being direct, but it actually works perfectly with it. The point of a discussion isn't for one person to win. It's for the whole group to talk it out, directly, honestly, until they land on a consensus, a solution that everybody can get behind. It's all about collaboration, not confrontation.
And finally, we've got minimalism. I mean, why use 20 words when 5 will get the job done, right? Scandinavian communication really values efficiency. Long, flowery speeches, a ton of small talk, that can actually be seen as wasting people's time. The style is simple, it's clear, and it respects you by getting straight to the point.
So we've seen what the style is, but I think the way more interesting question is, why? A communication style doesn't just pop up out of nowhere. It grows right out of the soil of a culture's deepest beliefs about the world.
And this right here is the key. If you really want to understand the words, you have to understand the worldview behind them. The way people talk is a direct outward reflection of their fundamental beliefs about how society should work and how we should all relate to each other.
So, academic models like this one show us that a worldview is this whole complex system. It covers everything from what you think exists to what you believe is good or bad to the values that guide your actions every single day. These deep, deep ideas are what shape the communication habits we see on the surface.
And for Scandinavia, these are the core values that are basically running the whole communication engine. You can draw a straight line from the value of equality to using first names. the value of consensus building leads right to that collaborative discussion style. See? It all connects. Now, this is a really fascinating twist. Scandinavian cultures are often called collectivistic. They really prioritize the good of the group. But at the same time, they have this powerful streak of individualism, valuing personal freedom. This blend is so key. The vibe is, we're going to find a solution together as a group, and within that group, your individual voice is absolutely heard and respected.
Okay, let's bring this all home. We've gone through the theory, we've looked at the values. Now, how do you actually swim in these waters without, making a splash for the wrong reasons? Let's get practical.
Here are 4 things to remember. Number 1, be direct and clear. Say what you mean. 2, embrace the informality. Go ahead and use first names. 3, focus on finding a consensus, not on winning the argument. And 4, listen patiently. People in Scandinavia tend to not interrupt each other, so give people the space to finish what they're saying.
And this really just sums it all up, doesn't it? As our source material says, this isn't just some academic exercise. Understanding this stuff is absolutely crucial for avoiding misunderstandings and for building real, positive relationships, whether it's in business or just making new friends.
So, we'll leave you with this final thought. We just spent all this time decoding the cultural water of Scandinavia. But what about your own? What are the unspoken rules, the invisible currents of the water that you swim in every single day, maybe without even thinking about it?